It's 2 in the afternoon. You just finished lunch. A good one. The kind you were looking forward to all morning. And now you're back at your desk, staring at a screen, and your eyelids weigh about 40 pounds each. You read the same sentence 4 times, and it still won't go in. Your head does that slow nod, the one you snap out of and immediately pray nobody saw. You're not sick. You slept fine. You just ate. And suddenly your entire body wants to shut down, like someone walked over and pulled the plug. Everybody knows this feeling. The food coma. The afternoon crash. And almost everybody has the same explanation ready to go. All your blood rushed down to your stomach to digest the meal, so your brain got left short. It's clean, it's simple. It's the answer your uncle gives at every holiday dinner. And it's basically wrong. Here's the thing. Your blood does shift toward your gut after you eat. That part is real. But your brain is not some passive victim in all this. Your body guards the blood flow to your brain more fiercely than almost anything else you own. It does not let your stomach mug your head. If a big lunch genuinely starved your brain of blood, you wouldn't feel a little sleepy. You would faint. Every single time. So the popular answer isn't just incomplete, it's pointing at the wrong culprit entirely. The real reason you're melting into your chair at 2 in the afternoon has almost nothing to do with plumbing. It's chemistry. In the minutes after you ate, your body quietly reached over and flipped a switch. And to understand that switch, you first need to understand that your nervous system runs in 2 completely different gears. Call them go and maintain. Go is the gear you already know. Heart rate up, pupils wide, muscles primed, senses sharp. The setting for chasing a bus or scrambling to hit a deadline. Maintain is the quiet one. Heart slows down, muscles go loose, and your body pours its energy into the unglamorous background work of keeping the machine running, repairing tissue, storing fuel, and above all, digesting. Scientists call this the parasympathetic state. You can just call it rest and digest. And here's the part that matters. You don't get to pick the gear. A big meal picks it for you. The moment a serious amount of food lands in your stomach, your body throws the switch out of go and deep into maintain. It has decided, without asking you, that right now the single most important job you have is breaking down that lunch. Everything else, including staying alert, gets turned down. But the switch is only the first layer. Because inside your brain, there's a tiny cluster of neurons that produce a chemical called orexin. Orexin is your wakefulness thermostat. It's the thing quietly keeping the lights on, keeping you alert and upright through the day. And these orexin neurons have one very strange weakness. They are switched off by glucose, by sugar. And you can probably see where this is going. When you eat a big meal, especially one loaded with refined carbs, white bread, fries, something sweet, your blood sugar climbs fast. And that rising glucose reaches into your brain and turns your orexin neurons down like a dimmer. Less orexin means less signal to stay awake. The lights literally start to fade. And this isn't some minor quirk. People whose orexin system is damaged have narcolepsy. They collapse into sleep without warning. So every time you demolish a mountain of pasta, you are handing yourself a tiny, temporary, watered-down version of exactly that. Now add the next layer, insulin. To deal with all that incoming sugar, your pancreas floods your bloodstream with insulin, whose job is to push nutrients out of your blood and into your cells. That includes a family of building blocks called amino acids. But insulin does not clear all of them out evenly. It sweeps most of them into your muscles and leaves one behind in your blood. Tryptophan. With all its competitors suddenly gone, tryptophan gets a wide open road across the barrier into your brain. And once it's inside, your body converts it into serotonin, and then into melatonin, the exact hormone your brain uses to put you to sleep every night. Read that again. You didn't take a sleeping pill. You built one out of your own lunch. And there's one more layer on top. As your gut works through the fat and protein in that meal, it releases a hormone called cholecystokinin, CCK for short. Its main job is to tell your brain, we're full, you can stand down. But researchers keep finding it does something else too. CCK is tied directly to drowsiness. The fuller and more satisfied you feel, the harder that sleepy signal pushes on you. So step back and look at what's actually happening. This was never one sleep signal. It's a pileup. The nervous system slammed into maintain. The orexin thermostat dimmed by sugar. A dose of homemade melatonin brewed from your own amino acids. And a satiety hormone whispering, stand down. 4 separate systems, all firing within the same half hour, all pointing in the exact same direction, down. No wonder you can't keep your eyes open. Now here's the part that should genuinely reframe this for you. It was never really about the food itself. It was about the size and the sugar. A small, balanced meal barely nudges any of these dials. But a huge portion of refined carbs spikes your glucose and your insulin far harder, which means more orexin shutdown and more tryptophan flooding your brain. The meal that hits you like a truck isn't the healthy one. It's the big, cheap, beige one. And there's a second catch, one you cannot out-eat, no matter how clever your lunch is. Your body has a low point built directly into its 24-hour clock, a natural dip in alertness that has nothing to do with food at all. It shows up on its own every single afternoon, somewhere around 1 to 3 p.m. Biologists call it the post-lunch dip, but it happens even when you skip lunch entirely. So picture the timing. You take a heavy, sugar-heavy meal and you drop it directly into the exact window where your alertness was already sliding toward its daily floor. You're not really causing the crash. You're pouring fuel on one that was already lit. The food and the clock hit at the same moment, and together they put you on the floor. That is why 2 in the afternoon feels less like tiredness and more like gravity. But I've felt this even after a salad, you're thinking. Fair. That's completely fair. Even a modest meal nudges you toward maintain, and if you slept badly the night before, or you're standing right in the middle of your afternoon dip, that gentle nudge is all it takes to tip you over. This is not a personal weakness. It's not a lack of discipline. It has a real name, postprandial somnolence. And it shows up right across the animal kingdom. Rats, snakes, worms, even fruit flies. Feed them a good meal, and they slow down and rest. In a fly, scientists can literally watch specific neurons switch the animal into sleep right after a protein-rich feed. Think about what that means. This is not a human problem, or a modern problem, or a you problem. This is ancient machinery, older than mammals, older than almost everything. Your 2 o'clock slump is running on code that was written hundreds of millions of years ago. So, back to you, at your desk, eyelids sinking. Now you actually know what's happening under the hood. It isn't blood draining out of your brain. It's a nervous system flipped into maintain, an orexin dimmer turned down by sugar, and a shot of homemade melatonin, all landing inside the 1 hour your body was already running on empty. Which is the good news, because it means you can actually fight it, just not with more coffee poured on top. You fight it with smaller portions, so the glucose spike stays small. With protein and fiber instead of a wall of refined carbs. so the sugar releases slowly instead of all at once. And with 10 minutes of walking after you eat, which pulls glucose into your muscles before it can ever reach your brain and dim the lights. Do that and the switch barely moves. But here's the truth sitting underneath all of it. You're not tired because eating broke something inside you. You're tired because eating worked exactly the way it was designed to. For almost every creature that has ever lived, a full stomach meant one simple thing. You are safe, you are fed. Stand down and rest. Your body still believes that with everything it has. It just doesn't know you have a meeting at 3. So the next time that 2 o'clock wave rolls over you and your eyelids start to sink, don't fight your body like it's malfunctioning. It isn't. It's doing the oldest job it has. It just has absolutely terrible timing.